Alright, hey guys, this is part one in my big series of my SIG tutorials. I'll be making a SIG from scratch by using this picture of a wolf and this forest over here. And first off, I found these two images on the website deviantart.com, which is on this. It's a really useful website. I recommend you use it. I just love it. Alright, so I'm going to jump right in. First, what we're going to do is find the SIG size. So we'll do File, New, or Control N, New. The SIG size that I like to use is the width at 375 and the height at 335. Everything the same, background transparent, resolution 72, and there we go. A nice small, medium-sized area to work with. So first, what I'm going to do is try to find the point in this picture and be sure to cut out this border here. Well, thank you, Skinner, for making this picture. Yeah. So I'm just going to drag this into here, find a nice point that I like, and I noticed that this picture is a bit blurry, but still, I love it. So I'm just going to improve the overall quality of this image. So I'm going to make a new layer, and I'll explain how I do this later, but I'm just going to do it really quickly. Give me a sec. There we go. Alright. Alright, sorry about that, guys. So I'm going to move this just right in here. Find a nice spot, you know. Maybe I should resize this. Yeah, 400. Alright, this looks good. This looks good. Ah. Alright. Ah, perfect. Okay. So, I chose this forest because wolves mainly live in the forest, like cold areas. This isn't really a forest with snow, but it's better than the city. You should always, yeah, I like that right there. And as you can see, this is a stock, not a render. Using stocks for your main focal points it takes much more skill than just using a plain old render from a website such as planetrenders.com. So, the first thing you should obviously do is use your zoom in tool, zoom in, and I'm going to quickly cut this out and I'll show you how I do this. A useful thing to do is go to your zoom in tool, right click, and then do fit to screen for all you amateurs out there. And what I use to cut out is the polygonal lasso tool, which is really accurate. You can cut it out in any way you want. The lasso tool is also good, but I'd rather have it accurate. Alright, so I'm going to feather it by 1 pixel so the border lines are more smooth. The edges, I mean, so the edges are more smooth. So I'm just going to quickly do this. I click it once, and then I let it drag around, and then I click it again to just make a point. Then I keep doing it. Alright. Bear with me here. Remember that these have to be as precise as possible. Precise as possible. Don't rush through this. I'm just rushing through it a little just because I want to save time, but don't rush. the parts with the fur are really difficult and annoying. But I managed through it. Cut out his legs. Okay. Alright. I actually should have feathered this a little more, considering the amount of fur, the long hairs that this wolf has, but this'll do. Alright. Just about done. When you're at the last point, all you have to do is make one more line, and then when that little dot pops up, you just click once, and it immediately selects the layer. What I like doing, you don't really need to do this, is I'm going to quickly zoom out, put it to actual pixels. I like going to select up here, and then inverse, and then just press the delete key on your keyboard. And that basically deletes everything but the thing that you just cut out. And I think this is a pretty good cutout. Not perfect, but it's decent and I can work with it. I still have to improve the edges around here, but I can easily fix that. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is resize this so it can fit on this sig over here. Okay, so let's try, I'm going to take a guess here, 300. Definitely too big. I'll try 200 by 270. Seems fair. Seems fair. Alright. And render place, the placement of this is really, you really have to think about where you're placing these. I actually feel like placing it in the middle, and that's probably what I'm going to do. Just keep in mind that placing it in the middle makes it 2 times harder to flow. But I think I can manage it. Whew. Definitely going to be a difficult sig. Okay. I'll just place it right there in the middle, and I'll blend it in later. And I'll place it a little to the right. Yeah. Or actually to the left. So I can add flow going this way to the top right. Alrighty. So we have the background and the render. Well, rendered by me. Yeah, the render. I'll call this wolf the render from now on, and I'll call the background, this layer, the background. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is basically add a filter or two to make this wolf blend in. Actually, what I'm going to do is get a bigger version of the wolf. Just paste it in there. Keep it like that. Set it to soft light or whatever. Just to bring out the colors in the wolf so the wolf can flow in more with the background. Right now I'm just playing around with the effects. Whatever looks best I'm going to use. I think hard light looks good. I'll set that to about 64 opacity, 73. Get out my eraser tool. I'll be using the eraser tool a lot. It's just my style. Set the opacity low, and I just basically erase around the render as so. As you can see, it fits in a little better with the background. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm just going to repeat this step once. Alright, it looks like I've reached the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to continue in part 2. Thanks for watching.